Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome, travelers, and welcome to Map Maven. My name is Ellen. As always, I will be your cartographer this evening. Today is Reimagining Day, so we're going to be taking something we're all a little familiar with and redesigning it with Dungeondraft into a battle map. I'm very excited about this. This is, I think, going to be a really cool way to take things that we all know and love and kind of reimagine them into a new world and revisit old things we like. As always, I have some handy tools at my disposal that I will be using today. Roll20, Sirenscape, and Dungeondraft. These programs are essential supporters of Talking XP, and they make all of our streams possible. Roll20 is the ideal platform for sharing maps with your party and running games online. Once you have your campaign set up in Roll20, the only thing you're going to need is some audio to complete the full ambiance. And what better place to get that than Sirenscape, which you are actually hearing right now. With one click, you can conjure immersive environments and sound effects. For example, we're going to take this moment to step away from this chaotic, blustering, busy dockside area, and we're going to step into the cartographer's map shop with me, where it's a little bit more ambient, chill. Let's close those doors. Isn't that nice? So, we'll also be using Dungeondraft today, which you can find online. We are actually not sponsored by Dungeondraft. I'm just a huge fan. Dungeondraft is, in my opinion, the most intuitive, the fastest, my favorite. Honestly, just they seem really cool, and I wish we could hang out. Program out there for making your own maps. You can find them by looking up Dungeondraft, no space, just one word, Dungeondraft, and you can get it for a one-time purchase. And what we're going to be doing today, I did not build any custom assets for, I haven't uploaded it or messed with it at all. This is Dungeondraft as you can get it online. And again, links for all of these things are going to be in the VOD description if you're catching us on YouTube, which I'm proud to say, we have finally uploaded the backlog of Map Maven streams to the Talking XP YouTube. So you can find us there. So if you go to the Talking XP channel on YouTube, you can find us all there. Now that we have all of our tools in hand, let's make you a map. Let's get into it. So chime in on chat, say hi. I do watch the chat, so if you're there, I love the company. We love hearing you. So shout it out. Tell us your ideas. Tell us your thoughts and feelings. Okay. So today, if you got spoiled by the description of the video, is we're going to be doing a reimagining of Critical Role and also Lord of the Rings. Now, hopefully we'll have time for both. If we don't, I'm sorry. I apologize most profusely, but we're going to be starting out with some classic Critical Role. For those of you who know, Critical Role is one of the most popular live streams of TTRPG content. They're big, they're booming, they're doing a million things right now, starting up their own lines of custom RPGs as well as publishing books, but they started from very humble beginnings, and now even though they have beautiful sets and battle maps and all of these amazing elaborate things at their disposal, when it started out not quite a decade ago, I think it was, they just had 7 or 8 years, I believe, don't quote me on that. When it started out, it was a much more lo-fi stream with battle maps that I think a lot of us would recognize, hand-drawn by the Dungeon Master, Matt Mercer. And I thought what a fun way to revisit that would be to, we're not going to reimagine a map that's already got the full production value. We're going to go back to one of those lo-fi maps from the very beginning, the annals of history, of Critical Role history. And we're going to be remaking one of those. So we're actually going to be taking a little tour back to the very first battle map that is seen on Episode 1 of Campaign 1 of Critical Role. It is the Battle at Craghammer. So I've already gone ahead and imported that into Dungeondraft. For those of you new to Dungeondraft, we're over here. So here's our Dungeondraft file. I just went ahead and made us a 50 tile by 50 by 50 map space to be working with, because we'll figure out exactly what scale we need it at for this particular map. Always good to have extra space as long as you're not getting lost. And what I've got today is I've already put in a trace image, which it's very tiny. There it is. Look how small it is. We'll zoom in and say hello. Hi there, map. So this is the first ever battle map that we see in the streamed content of Critical Role. This is during the episode Arrival at Craghammer, where our intrepid heroes have arrived, and they were trying to track down Lady Kima, who seems to have caused a bit of a stir with the local dwarvish miners before heading down into the mines herself on some sort of quest for her god, Bahamut. So this encounter begins with Vox Machina hearing the tolling of a very loud bell, some sort of alarm symbol going off, and rushing out and finding that the guards are being beset by goblins that are rushing up from one of the mine shafts out of one of, I think there are 3 different quarries in the area. So this is what we're going to be building. It's just a fun little simple one. I think a fun way to pay tribute to like the lovely little beginnings of something that has become so big and grand. And I think that's pretty inspirational. It's kind of a true a way to look at, you know, I guess being a DM in general, or being a map maker in general, is you might not have all the expertise in the world. You might not be a brilliant designer or anything like that, but even you can grow from something very humble and grand and all these things with a lot of a lot of practice and a lot of time, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, and honestly, I love these maps from the early ties. They remind me of the maps I would use in my home game. Looks like we can't scale this up all the way, but those look, if we know those are a 5 by 5, that's a little 5 by 5 tile down there. So this actually might be about the right scale. I'm just going to put that in the middle of our map, and we're going to build out from it so we can have room. Ooh, look at that. We can kind of like shrink it down like that. But that looks about right if we're assuming each of these characters is filling a 5-foot square. So I'm going to say that's all right for us to be getting on with. This looks a lot like the maps I used to draw my early days of DMing. I would draw everything by hand. I had pencil and Sharpies, and I would take like thin Sharpies and thick Sharpies to make all the different like depths, and it takes a lot of time, but I do miss it sometimes. I miss and love that old lo-fi aesthetic that I had drawing maps by hand. It made them just so, I don't know if intimate is the word, but they made them feel like I actually built it. I carved this map from the white parchment paper. And I believe what they were using here is you can buy, for you that like going hand-drawn, you can buy a 1-inch grid paper on huge sheets of 1-inch grid paper from Office Depot or Staples. And that's what I did, which I still have a bunch of. So if I'm ever on the go, you can also, another fun fact, I did this when I was running a game for my family. I took wrapping paper, because a lot of holiday wrapping paper has an inch grid on the back for being able to cut in a straight line. So, if you're ever in a critical, ever need to DM on the go and you've got a package, just unwrap it, leave it like naked wherever it was, and then you can just use the back of that to draw out a quick map. Or, I don't know, maybe you use it for some sort of holiday themed one-shot or something. Yeah, there we go. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So what we know about this map is this is down in a quarry. This leads down into the mines, and I don't know if this map did continue off and this is all we were able to see on the stream, or if it does just cut off here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see there's a little bit of a mine entrance there. So we can see is some rubble around. I definitely think we're going to be using some different rock tools here, so let's just go ahead and lower this opacity so we can begin working around it. Not like that, or the opacity, just so it's not super distracting to us. Okay. And then let's start taking a look at what we got here. Obviously going to have a background. I would love to use, I believe a lot of the colors in this area were like grays and whites as they were marbling. I think they were mining limestone, but I'm not entirely sure. But also, dwarves dig in too deep and too greedily. One of my favorite things about dwarves. They're just very enthusiastic about things underground. That actually might be interesting. Now this is our snow tool, but it actually, I think, lends a sort of stony effect, and I wouldn't be mad about that. But they do actually have limestone here. Ooh. Okay, I think I like that as our base. We'll probably break it up with some other gravel and obviously some objects as well. So I think we're going to leave that as our base for now. I'm imagining this map probably won't actually take too long to do, because it is... I find a big outdoor map like this usually pretty simple, but we might go in and add some details. Like we know that there was a balcony up above the quarries that they came down from. We know that there's also that offices back there. So maybe if we're feeling a little frisky, we'll add on those extra buildings. Not too frisky though. Just the perfect amount. Okay. Then where do I want to start? I'm so excited. Where do I want to start? Got these huge walls here. And also we're going to be redesigning too. So we might add some stuff in that wasn't in this original map. No one get mad at me. I checked and I made sure it was super okay before it. Because we could just go in with this, which I don't mind. I do think it would need to be taller. But I like that in general. So let's do that, but we're gonna make it bigger. That's too big. That's too big. Let's take it down to, what is that width 5? Is that what that means when it says width 5? Well, that's about 4. It's about 4 wide. So let's do, undo. Let's go ahead and take 4. Still only 4 wide. I bet the 4 is like the maximum. So it's like a maximum of 5 tiles wide. I feel like we want to do a maximum of 3. We don't want it to be so huge. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Now we know this is going to be a tunnel leading back. So we could also go in and make this with our cave brush and do like the blown out section there. But do we want to do that? You can do whatever you want. It's just a question of what do you want to do. Let's see a little bit of what that would look like. So if I was going to build it this way, I guess I would, you know, core out this area like this, which does not look terrible. I'm not furious. I'm not fuming with rage upon seeing this. And then you could blast open and, or I guess like continue to carve that back into the mine. Oop, not like that. I think I prefer the other one because it's going to allow us to customize the height a little bit more. Of course, we could do this one this way and then we could customize the color. And it looks a little bit more, this looks very classic map. Like this is, if it was in black and white, this would print very much and I feel like look like the classic, like Dungeon Magazine look. I think I want to go with my other one. My instinct, we're going back to my favorite tool. I love my little wall tool, my little path tool here. So we're going to do this. We're going to keep it on 3. Let's zoom out a little bit so we have a full picture of what's going on here. So it continues off this way. We don't know exactly how it connects, but I know that they mentioned there were 3 separate quarries. So I assume this is one, and then there's like another one that maybe comes off in a different direction. So I'd imagine this kind of curves up to or around. Maybe it intersects with like a wall or pillar here. So I'm going to take this down to here. Ooh, that's big. Let me zoom in a bit since we're, you know, doing my favorite activity of staying way too far back from the map. I love just really, eye strain to me, it just really gets me going, you know? Nothing like a little bit of eye strain in the evenings. Okay, so now we'll have to decide what to do here because this is where it opens up to the cavern beyond. So I think we'll take this and sort of bend it back. Now we don't know exactly where it is, but we know they can't, I believe I don't know exactly what size that creature is that comes up, but it's got to be wide enough. But we'll assume this kind of goes back this way. I'm just going to trail it back. I'll just trail it back this way off screen for now. If I come in that way, gotta go the other way. Gotta build it from the other side. And then it's been cored out so they can get stuff through it, but it's not it's not a very wide path. Because, there we go. Ooh, we're going to be cutting off a little bit here. I might scoot this back once I've finished making the map, just to make sure it fits a little bit better. this coming on down. And of course this is changing the outline of that wall slightly. But I think we're okay with that. I'm going to bring that up there. To right there. I like that. That's, ooh, that actually really makes me very happy. I love the depth that's being achieved there. Let's go ahead and back this up a little bit because it was just getting a little bit close. We can also, I believe, adjust the points on this. So if we go to our path tool and go edit points, I'm going to bring this in. I want the path to be a little bit smaller. Not that small. Yeah, that's nice. And I believe down this way, probably going to be wrong, but I believe the first thing that happened is they went down to, like, they walked in, got to a mine shaft, and then descended deeper down. So I'm assuming that mine shaft would be off here. You know what? Let's say there is one. That'll make it interesting. I don't remember off the top of my head if there is one right now. But I believe there was a mine shaft that they descended down to a lower level of the mine. So I might go ahead and put that in there for fun. For fun. I did rewatch a bit of this today to refamiliarize myself just with the combat. There we go. I really like that shape. Okay, so that's that first bit of it. Now we have a couple things here. Let's increase the opacity on this. Trace image, opacity up. This image is a little blurry, but that's okay. So we've got some broken rubble here. We've got, I believe, some sort of, not a column, a stalagmite, possibly, or a buildup of rubble, as well as some mining carts, it looks like, down here. The scattering goblins, of course. So I think that's what we'll do. And again, if it's not exactly as it was described, that's all right. We're just having fun. We're reimagining. If we're not using our imagination, we're not really doing anything here. Okay, I like a nice big boulder. Let's grab this one. Ooh, yeah, that's what I want. Do I want it to have a shadow, though? Let's say no shadows for now. That looks nice. That looks like a broken pillar, so I'm going to go ahead and grab... What would it be? Because to me it looks... I mean, it could just be rubble. It could just be this or this. But I like the idea of maybe... Yeah, let's stick with rubble for now. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit. Let's turn off the snapping. Nice. And then we have some mine carts and stuff that we'll mess with. But I don't want to mess with that too much yet. I just wanted the big things on there. Now, I would love... I think it'd be cool if there's some evidence of stuff up around the ridges here where they've been building out over time. Or not building out, but like obviously they carved down into this area. So the idea of showing those other layers, I think would be an interesting thing to do. So I'm probably going to add in another one of these path tools, following loosely the same path, but giving some space to show that, like, oh, well, maybe people get up there or over there as they're working. So I'll go ahead and snap just for ease. Yeah, let's do like that. And then this one is actually going to close off the mouth of that cave there, because that's where they buried down. Buried. Love that word. It's very satisfying to say, even though it feels like I'm saying it incorrectly. Yeah, I'm gonna adjust some points there. So maybe leave that one, bring that one in a little bit. Because then we can also, this would be a fun place, again, a reimagining of the encounter. It'd be cool to see that maybe there are some miners still up here. We have some work. That would have been a fun ledge for the players to get to play with if that was there. Because that's what maps are all about. Whenever you're putting a map on the screen, or, you know, printing it out or drawing one, whatever your system is, I want to be showing my players new information that's allowing them to interact with the world in a different way that I might not have thought of. Now, and of course you can always do that in Theater of the Mind too. But yeah, I love a map. Obviously. I don't know why I'm trying to convince you of this. You know I'm here. You know what I'm doing. Okay. Water break. Okay. Okay, so that's that. I honestly, I think, kind of like having this thing in the background, but I'm going to turn down the opacity a little bit. Just so it's a little less distracting. Okay. I might imply, one description I really liked that they had in game was that the quarries as they were being dug down was how they were expanding the city, where as they were digging down and clearing out any of the useful materials from a quarry, then the city of Craghammer would begin to use those evacuated spaces to build new homes, new developments, what have you. So I like the idea of maybe, I don't know, again, this might not be 100% accurate, but I like the idea of maybe on the very upper levels where, you know, this thing is bored down hundreds of feet into the ground, but maybe about, you know, 50 feet up from the main part of the quarry, you're already starting to see houses under construction. So maybe we'll put some of those up on this upper level. Yeah, let me go ahead and grab some roofs. Ooh, what is the most accurate? What's the most, what feels dwarvish? That feels pretty dwarvish. I like that little check mark or check pattern. I think that actually might be an update. I don't think that was there before. That might be a new one. Ooh, darker might be nice. I like the idea of it being darker or brown. Let me see. Definitely like this more angular pattern, but lighter or darker. I think I'm gonna go darker so it sticks out from the surrounding earth a little bit better. And then for the sake of a fun roof, I love that. I love that dormer roof. It makes me feel very fantasy as soon as I put in that little dormer roof, just because it's an angle. I don't know why. I don't make the rules about how I feel. Yeah, so we'll put maybe back up around right here. And, you know, I'm just going to copy and paste a couple of these. Not delete. I'm going to do the opposite of that. I want more of them. Okay, we'll just figure that out. We're just going to put those on placeholders for now. Okay, and then I also said, other than that, so these guys are actually probably going to be, so the roof layer is up top. I can't adjust that. Let me think, what else can I adjust before I start adding in props? I don't want to add in too much set dressing before I know where I'm going scenically. I do like the idea of creating the wall barrier, which I think the way I'm going to imagine it, again, might not be 100% accurate. I'm going to build up a wall here that I imagine is essentially like a reinforced carved stone wall out of the brick. So let's do something a little bit more carved. I guess this says concrete, but you know what it looks like to me is carved. But it is dwarves, so they're very adept. They might have been able to make it a little bit more complicated. Let's do this one. Let's take this. I'm going to color select from here so it matches that stone wall, and then I'm going to create a barricade across here. Might also, maybe we also make that out of our handy dandy path tool instead of trying to make it out of a wall. It's all about experimentation. That's the beauty of digital. You can just change it at any given time. Edit points. To zoom in. Yeah, because I'm not sure I like this because there's so much heft and weight and depth to these, but there's not that to this wall here. Maybe I use that for a segment. Okay, goodbye wall. Get out of there. Let's use our path tool. Oof, this is going to be complicated, I think. I think I'm going to make my life a little difficult. Why not? So I know I'm very far out. That would be, does that make sense that way? Or would it go the other way? I feel like it would go the other way. Be higher on the back side. Yeah. And this wall, actually, I'm going to make outrageously large because it is theoretically much bigger. And I'll just move this back once I draw it, so that's okay. And we're working off the edges of the map here, so it's okay that we're getting a little bit of bleed. Let's pull that back to like here, so we're at least getting the same playing space. And then I would like to edit here. There we go. So it's covering up there. I'm wondering if there's a way. I think maybe we actually want to send this path tool to the back. And then, okay, I'm seeing the vision. And then these I actually want to, I might redo these arcs to have them fade in or out. Or maybe I can hide that harsh line somehow. I don't like this harsh line. Oop, didn't want to do that. Let's see what we can do here. Path tool, edit layers, transition in and out. I wonder if I edit layers while it's transitioning. What do we think? What do we think, gents? Let's try it. Edit points. Will it change to being faded if I shift it around? It doesn't look like it. No. Okay. So I'm going to have to redraw those. That's okay. It's going to take not a second with the magic of Dungeondraft. Again, absolutely not sponsored under any circumstances. I just think they're neat. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's get in our path tool again. And I'm going to say, so we need it to transition in and a fade and then out, not on anything. Let's zoom in a little bit and increase that trace image opacity so we can see what we're doing. Gotta see what we're doing. Okay. Over, okay, and edit points off, back down to 3. This might get a little wonk magonk, if you know what I mean. So let's test it out, see how it works. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. It's overlapping our wall. It's creating some sort of non-Euclidean nightmare, but that's okay. Okay, so here's one thing. This fade function is making it turn into a ghost. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to try and cover it with some handy-dandy map-making tricks. Leave that as is. Maybe we'll add ladders or something there. I'll figure it out. No, I also could. I wonder if I could undo. I wonder if I could take this and then path tool, edit tools. If I take this and then I kind of just lead it. Ooh, that's a bit of a monstrosity. A bit of a monstrosity, she says. Okay. Because that kind of implies that there's just this here, and then, you know, the balcony would probably cover this upper part of it. Yeah, okay, so let's try that. Uh-oh. So bring that in. Can you all see what I'm doing right now? Okay, there we go. Here we go. Making a map about a show. Okay. We'll do the same thing on this side. Let's do the first one first, or the lower one first. Okay. Nice. I don't know why, but that gave rise in my mind to an entire character of somebody who talks like that. Okay. We're making a map. I'm going to stop because they seem like a nightmare. Okay. Set it again. Let's back it out. So now we have this nice sort of rounded core. I might add a whole other layer up here to indicate the houses, but I'm imagining when we actually see the map, it's going to be cropped probably like before we're getting off here. So I will go ahead and add on another layer of these because I like making my life just a little bit complicated. So I'll bring this over here. I'm going to say this one's wider. Even wider. Because these houses would be built up into the stone. Because that's how they, you know, that's how they roll. With the idea of being a little bit asymmetrical, so maybe that side's a little bit tighter in. And bends out there. Then it comes in here. There we go. Okay. So we've got those houses built in, and we can continue implying, and we'll figure out exactly what those buildings look like later. I don't think they'd be quite that close to the quarry, because they are building down, and if this quarry is that active, I would imagine that these are going to be the newest, but they would, I would assume, have some sort of safety in place that you wouldn't be able to build right over top of the active work, because that would just be wild. But maybe, I mean, that would have definitely increased the level of threat and tension when stuff started coming out of the mines, because it's right in the middle of a neighborhood. Okay, now we're going to have to create some sort of door here that they enter through as they've descended down from the upper portions. Oh, I'm seeing that that's fading in and out over here. I think it's fine. We'll figure it out later. It doesn't fade over here. I'm thinking we're going to cover some of this anyway. And I think once we have the lighting on, it's not going to be a problem. Okay, so that's our basic round structure we're working with. I think... What can we make that out of? Let's get inspired. Let's go to our object tools. Now I do know I have some holes. Don't we all? So we could always do this. Oh, I love the idea of putting that over there to like also indicate the entrance. Can I please let me do it? I probably will. But maybe, well, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of like the way that looks. Map Maven, you'll like the way you look. I don't think it makes sense over here so much. I imagine this would be like a large door, which I know they have doors and gates, as if they've fallen down. So that could be kind of cool. Fallen door. I mean, they're fallen, but we're going to be assuming it's standing up. I like this one. It's like a big old barricade, but I don't think we'd be able to flip it to match. But it would be open behind them, theoretically, because they've just entered. So if we put this one here, let's zoom in. And to me, I'm going to assume that bracket is going toward the outer edge of the door. So let's close this. Is that about centered? That's about centered. So we'll put that there. And then the second one would be slightly open. Oh, so I guess it would be just kind of out this way, wouldn't it? Magic. Probably right about there. And then we just need to like fill that area with implying there is a whole, like the entrance behind it. Is that going to look a little funky? You know what? We might fake it out with a carpet under. Just make this black. To imply there is an opening behind it. Let's take snapping off. No, that's a little trippy to look at, but I think it functionally is what makes the most sense here. I'm definitely going to have to pull back that wall. I also want to create some sort of interesting keystone piece to fill in the top of that door. So let's go to stone. Is this useful for me? Maybe that blown up. I think I'm definitely going to put a couple different pieces together to make this work. There's a fly directly in front of me. It's like I'm being watched. It's like I'm being watched, he says on camera. Okay. Let's go ahead and make that big. Definitely going to have to make some sort of... Ooh. Does that look better? Does it look better, everybody? Okay. We could also put one of these underneath it. I do want to, whatever we're doing, we're just simply going to make it more ornate once I've picked it and like fancy it up. Because they're dwarves. They like carving things. Okay, let's just do under. Okay. Okay. Like that. And then I think I want another. Let's get statue. Some more stone, like a stone carved top. I wonder if they've got that in stone. Not the owl so much, but maybe one of these little gargoyle guys. If they've got one of those in stone, that'd be nice. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I like that. Over. Shrink you down. Too small. Come back. Okay. Not sure I like the way it looks. I do. Maybe we could get a fountain. I also like the idea of whatever this is being a bit of a light source at the front of the mine. It's like glowing a beacon toward the exit, so if an emergency happened, you can ignite the lights. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make this like a nice red. Looks a little vicious. But that kind of works for me. And then we'll go back to stone. And then we'll put something underneath it to help shape it out. Perhaps one of these. Or this mount here. Let's put that under and then make that bigger. Oh yeah. That's starting to look like a thing. I was going to flip it up the other way. Yeah, I think that's cool. So that's got that glowing eyes for the emergency light, which we're absolutely going to have be on for this combat. And then that wall continues there. There'd also be more wall. This is actually going to drive me nuts if I don't fix that. So I apologize, but I must absolutely redo that. Okay. Path tool. There we go. It was at 3. We want the fade off. We're going to take that from here. No. Take that from here over. Filling out this big old space back here. Coming around the top. You know what it could do? We could extend them all to behind this. Then that kind of makes me question whether or not we really need this backing wall. Let's play around. I'm gonna get rid of that. Go to Path Tool, Edit Points. Zoom in, maybe? No, let's not zoom in. Okay. Extend that. Ooh, we did it. That looks cool. That's gonna look great. Okay. Bring that out. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is so much better. Okay. Now I'm excited. Now I'm getting juiced up. Okay. Then we'll do the same thing on this side. And we're going to take that and extend it over. And again. And a third time. I might actually kind of start bringing this one up a bit. Now we're starting to get some matchy-matchy patterns between the different layers, but those, it's okay. We'll survive. I'm going to take this to here. I keep bringing it out this way. It's fun to watch it swirl around like that. Yeah, let's just take that off the map that way. So again, we're going to be cutting this off at a certain point, so we're not going to see that they've got those hard edges on the side. And then I am going to, I don't need that. I'm going to take this end and do the same thing actually. No, not that one. This one. If I can grab it. See, they're too close together. Back it up. Back it up. No, maybe not. leave that like that. I do need to extend over here, so we'll just get another path tool to like layer in behind it. Or just, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna assume it kind of butts up over here. It's interesting the way, I guess because it ended over here, that one's higher. Hello. Getting juiced up. Hey, Extel. Welcome. I was getting juiced up about the maps. How can you not be juiced up about these maps? Okay. I can grab, the map doesn't want me to touch it. It's being distant now. Okay. No. No. I just love the idea of this wall just like looming over top. So let's go ahead and take that and hit that path tool again. Edit points. Bring them out. Cool. That also gives the illusion that this is closer to us because it's reading as wider. Yeah, if you're not juiced up about your maps, why are you making your maps? That's my question. As I've said every time, you know, as a DM, you got to do the parts of it that make it fun for you. If you're not getting juiced up about the maps, you know, why are you making maps? Just theater of the mind. Make it fun for yourself. Okay. Wow, this is so elaborate already. I love it started as like just a little, you know, a little sketch to get the message across, and now it's this absolute behemoth. Okay. Like this. I like the idea of them all facing outward. As if, you know, maybe this is like a little porch and they have the overhang at the top of it. Here we go. Kind of at a slightly different angle. We'd assume that the building probably continues as bored back into the rock out of some old mine shaft maybe, which I actually might put a couple other tunnels out because that was also mentioned that there are multiple tunnels leading off of this area into different mine shafts. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so like this would have been over in a pre-existing one that they like bored back into the rock. That's so cool. That's such a fun idea. I love the idea of it. I love when a city's history is built in, like written in the architecture of it, and it's really responding to it. One of my favorite concepts I had for a town on a different, very different setting than, you know, it was a fantasy world, but it was a different world that I actually am not currently using anymore. There was a city, huge metropolis, sorry, that was built out of a giant cemetery, as in like giant kind cemetery. So it was this old, like, I don't know how to describe it. It was this enormous mesa that was in fact like a giant burial mound that was like raised up, you know, like maybe not a mile. I always find it, I'm always like 3 miles in the sky. That's way too high. It was raised up as a mesa, and on top of it, all of these old mausoleums had been turned into essentially like buildings for humanoids because the giant race, like the giant society that had been living out of that area was run off or died in the last giant war. So there was no longer anyone actively visiting or preserving the cemetery. So then it became like essentially like apartment blocks, or like they kind of look like skyscrapers, but they were built out of just mausoleums to giants, which I thought was I thought it was cool. I was a fan of it. And there was like, of course, still like some death culture involved. I kind of want to add some more entrances down here, because I know there weren't any on the original map, but I think it would make sense that there would have been some more tunnels leading down on the lower level as well. So let's go ahead and maybe this one's over here. Let's put it right about there. I think that's a nice place to put another hole. Okay. Yeah, and then I think we're going to add some little ladders moving up and down. This is so exciting. Okay. I love building a big elaborate map that whenever you put it in front of the players, they're like, we're going to stand right here, and because of action economy, we're not actually going to like disengage or move farther. That happened to me on so many maps. I would build this amazing, beautiful battleground, and it's like, we can't move because the monsters are now next to us, so we're just gonna stay here. Yeah. Let me get another carpet. And I know why I need a carpet. Don't worry. It makes sense. Actually, I might get a plate. I just need something round that I can change the color of. Which it doesn't look like it wants me to do. Let me see. What do I got under... Where's my option? That just says colorable. Round stuff. There we go. Let's make that not gray, but black. Except... I'm going to use that to kind of fill in up here. Now what was I going to do? I was going to put it over. Nice. Put this over top. I wonder if I move that in. Now that looks a little odd to me. I feel like I need to put something on top of there though to make it look a little bit nicer. Let's just grab another thing made out of stone. Just something nice and square. Maybe a pillar. Maybe that guy. Shrink him down and rotate. I might actually add a pillar here on the side because that looks nice. And I think there is a intact pillar that's laying on its side we could use. Or I could do stone, but I feel like they would carve it out. They would just carve it out of the existing rock. I think I want this one. And then this will be slightly underneath. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so that'll go right there. And then we're going to move our door to front. Slightly over top of that. Yeah, right about there. Cool. Yeah, that looks so cool to me. I'm delighted endlessly by combining different assets to make something new. Well, rotated it. Okay. So, what else can we add here before we start messing with lighting? I feel like there's certainly stuff. I mean, there was more things in the art, the original art that was laying about. So maybe some mining gear. I'm going to go to some art assets, object tool, clear that. And then... let's see, I know they have one for containers. I think there's one for a mine in here, but there's not too much under that tool. Okay, but we're definitely going to use that. Let's match this color to the lighter stone so it feels cohesive. Throw a couple of these down there. Then let's look at what else can we use. I think cave also has some useful stuff in there. Little pop. Cave. Oh, they also have a whole thing for cart. Ooh, this is fun. We can throw some of those on there that look really nice. Maybe they got some really lovely chunks of stuff. Now, none of these are really getting me going, if I'm being completely honest with y'all. Okay. Bridge, cage, brush. Destruction, living quarters, military mess, office, tavern, town. What do we think? What do we think? Cave, fixture, fountain. I might just have to go through and get inspired. I know there's cool tools, so I know they got some like, yeah, we want one of those, we want one of those. We're just moving stuff. I know they might, you know, this is the stuff we're working with. I'll also add more as we go. I feel like, what else can we use? Might have to just start looking at the stuff that's an option. Okay, yeah. Let's look at camp. Is there anything in camp that I find useful? No, not really. Broken. I think there would certainly be some broken stuff down here. You know what would be fun? This is, again, an addition, but maybe there is some sort of map surveyor down here. You know, this map, you know, there's like a little workstation over here that people were looking around, discussing. Let's put a little lantern on that. I don't, it's sometimes when it pulls up stuff for lantern, I have no idea why it would think that's what I was looking for. But I like that. And then, you know, maybe this is where they're like the active, like, shift manager is essentially like tracking movements. I know there's a quill in here. Tracking movements through the mind, keeping track of where people are going and getting to, progress they're making throughout the day. So I think that's nice, something like that. Maybe they've got some papers there. Yeah. Different like plans and stuff. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay. Then we know we want some ladders to be getting between our different levels. I think we're definitely going to want the taller ladder. And let's go ahead and also, let's start using a separate layer. Which, before I even do that, let's go ahead and I'm going to do a select. I'm going to grab all of this, all of these proppy things, and move them all to the upper layer so we know they're on top of everything else. So let's move that to layer 2. 2. Layer 2. That's kind of all the props we're working with right now. Okay, so then let's go back to our objects. We have our ladder. Now we're going to be placing on layer 2. I feel like there'd be, okay, make it a little bit bigger. Too big. There'd also probably be some lifts. I don't know if I've got it in me to design a whole lift structure today. But there'd certainly be some ladders here for workers to get up and down the different layers. And also, of course, our players to possibly get up and down the layers, as this is a battle map, of course. I don't know if there'd be a ladder leading up to this level now, because now people live here, theoretically. Yeah, I think I'm not going to put layers there. You know what, I'm going to look at some prefabricated stuff that's in here, because I think there might be something. Oh, this is the bag I made. I love that bag. A crane. Ooh, I love the idea of there being a crane. Okay, I'm going to put that over there. Well, no. Oh, but you know that well, I bet I could take bits of that and turn it into something else, but I do have the crane, so maybe I don't need to do all that. I don't think there's anything I necessarily want from that market set. Crane, wagon full, bag. There wouldn't be any altars right now. Wooden raft. Okay. But I love the idea of there being a crane that's like lifting stuff out. Let's put that up on the wall. Let's put it... We got that over there, so let's put this up here. So that's maybe moving stuff up to an upper level. We'll have this kind of coming in from off the map. So it's sitting sort of up on a platform up here over top. I'm going to go ahead and I wonder if I can turn the shadows on that. It looks like I can't, but I could build a shadow underneath it. And then I'm going to put that on top of some sort of built embankment, I think. Or not battlement, I guess. Now, do I want to do that out of stone? You know what, let me grab an altar, actually. Because we could build it out of this guy. Under, make that real big. Because you see that there's like the pylons there, so I'd like to indicate that it's like connected somehow. I'm going to drop that. I'm going to drop that. I also think, you know, we're not here. We're not underground. So maybe we're not in the shop anymore. We've become immersed in the spooky underground town of Craighammer. It's not really a spooky town. It's just dwarves. They just got dwarves. Copy. Why does it not want me to move this to another layer? Oh, because it's probably on multiple different layers. That makes sense. So let me go ahead and take... There's a lot of swamp bugs. Let's take that down. I don't think there'd be quite so many bugs there. See how easy that was? The magic of Sirenscape. Get out of here, bugs. Yeah, okay. I also like the idea, the implication that this can actually turn. Oh, I'm for sure. You know, I'm going to put an enormous gear underneath it to imply the dwarves have rigged up some wild looking contraption that can shift this thing around. There we go. And then let's put this back on layer 1. This is maybe the precipice you have to walk to get to that crane. Just like that, and let's make it a little bit bigger. Cool. Oh. Map dance. Okay. Let's add on some gears. I was like, we're just gonna be real chill. We're gonna just do a nice reimagining of an existing map. We're changing it. We're adding stuff. We're getting wild. 'Cause that's what it's all about. Nope, I don't want it over, I want it under, and I want it on layer 1. Ooh. Oh no, the wolves! Let me turn that down a little bit. Because I like the idea of there being creatures down here, but maybe not wolves in that amount. So I don't want it over top of this thing. Maybe it is this whole thing turns. That's so cool. Then shrink this. This is a little too big. Maybe a little bit bigger. I do love a big old gear. I think it does need to go under, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It does. All right. Okay. Nope. This guy. The idea of those two maybe being together. And then this one's on this side. Placed real nuzzled in there. And then we'll also add another gear with that one. Something or other to show that it's got some inner workings. Imply inner life to this strange mechanism. And I love using a ship's wheel as my turning mechanism. Though, ooh. Loud music. Sorry about that. Yeah. Where's my ship? Oh yeah, we can put this crank over here. Let's put it over top. We're building a crank. Okay. You know me. Love a good mechanism. I'm building this so far off the map. There's no way this is all going to be visible. Why do I do this to myself? Because it's fun. Okay, and we're going to take another bit of ship here. Which bit of the ship? Put that underneath. Under. Would they build it out of stone? Absolutely. Let's go to... I feel like there's some odd elements in here. Let's go to maybe slightly outside. Step away since I'm a little more confident in some of the nature sounds elsewhere. Okay. Let's build it out of stone. They like stone. I know that, I mean, actually, know what? You know, they would have some stuff made out of wood. Why wouldn't they? Dwarves do have also building proficiencies in that. In carving. I just always imagine stone for dwarves. Okay. Nice, and then I will go get my little chain tool. We're making it so complicated. I love it. You know, that whole song, Complicated, was really just written about dungeon masters, I feel. And we made it that complicated because it's more fun for us. Okay. So let's go ahead and much smaller. You know, I'll also go ahead and turn off edit points. Bigger? A little bit bigger. Let's put it at 1.5. It's okay. We're starting to mess with layers, everybody. We're starting to get a little complicated. Let's move this to layer 3. And then we're going to take our path tool and we're going to put it under, not underneath it. We're going to put it, yeah, on layer 2. So it's between the two things. Like that. Perfect. Big old thing. Couple different layers of chains. So I imagine there'd be some dwarves who like have to crank this thing closed, and then we'll have some of the chains running out to here. Oh, that looks so cool. Okay, I think it should. It's gotta wrap back around that thing, doesn't it? So let's transition out, shrink. I gotta redo that. It's gonna run from here. Yeah, okay, so we're going to go like this. And that implies it's sort of like going up and around. Let me drag that out a little bit more. So we'll start like here. Oh, okay. I'm convinced. Okay, and then this time we're gonna shade it to a grow and then a none. We're gonna have it come from, you know, we could also put it underneath. Let's put it underneath. That'll make our life a little bit easier. And it comes back up to the crank from the other side. Awesome. Yay! Okay, now I'm truly just living it up. I'm just having a good time at this point. Okay. So, what else do we want to add? We've got our clutter, we've got stuff like that, we've probably got some miners, moving things about. Let's get some crates. Oh, we're on the wrong thing. We need to go to our object tools. Let's just go and let's get some crates, because we're going to have to be moving stuff. I wonder if that would look convincing if I made it stone colored. I think it would look pretty convincing. Yeah, that works. Okay, I'll throw some of these in here. Maybe some of these smaller ones too, so it's like smaller breakups of the stuff, and then I'll put empty crates. And I'll mess with how many of those we have. Let me go ahead and move these to layer 2. Okay, and now I'm just gonna go through here and see what strikes my fancy. Ooh, gotta have one of these by the surveyor. The surveyor's table. Let's think of a nice color. Get those tucked there. Some extra mapping scrolls for the different layers of the mine, different historical overlays. Okay. Okay, now we're just scrolling through here. That's our mining stuff. Ooh, what's that? Oh, a chisel. Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably a little small, but I'll put it on there. Big old hammer. Love it. Mandrel. I'm not even sure I understand what that is. Just get all that stuff in there. Okay. Now, one thing for sure is they'd probably have some light. They definitely have some lighting elements around, so I'll probably add in some torches and such in addition to the light by the door. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to put a bell because I know that they used a bell as an alarm system. But I think we're going to have to build that because I don't think there's a bell on... Little cat. I don't think there's a bell on Dungeondraft. I'll have to figure out how to build that. But that, you know, it can be done. Let's keep scrolling. Oh, you know what would be cool? They've talked about weird creatures coming up from the bottom. So maybe there's some, like, monster bones of stuff that they'd killed and couldn't clear away because it was just too big. Let's see. Oh, that's what I was looking for over the door. Do I prefer one of these? Nah, I like my spooky guy with his little face. Torch bracket. I'll drop that in there. I'll use that in a minute. Scrolling. Beds. Nah. Do we want any of this? I mean, this can be useful for building stuff, so I might hold on to it just in case. I wonder if they'd have something that they kind of can cover the mine with, like a big old mine door. Possibly. I like the idea of like some broken stuff too. We also have this whole tunnel too. I think there'd be some benches, some workbenches that people are chilling out, taking their little break on. Drop one of those in there. You know, I feel like it'd be thicker though. A dwarven bench is going to be like a hefty, thick wooden bench, not this, not that little pew. Okay. Scrolling. And that might be just about what we're working with. I do like this pile of rocks, but it is a grave. Sandbags, I don't think would necessarily make sense. There are some guards. I don't know if they had, I don't think they had ballista or anything like that. But that would make sense if they'd been being attacked, they would have ballista. Maybe they'd purchase some once the attacks became more prevalent, more frequent. Ooh, like that. A little bit of rubble. Stuff being cleared out. Oh, yes. Okay, these are the doors. But I don't think it would be a different door. It wouldn't be one of those. I think there's more of them. We'll probably come to them. Stair steps, broken glass. Might not be a thing to add, and that's okay. Yeah, I think that's about what we're gonna... Oh, this, like, that's nice. Big old cart. Okay. So, making a bell. You know what? Let's leave it for a minute, because I want to make sure we get through all this. Let's just start messing with what we have to fill the space out. So we've got that area over there. I think the bench would probably be in the same sort of area. You know, this is like a little area that workers might be sitting. We'll probably scatter a couple of these. Copy, paste. Oh, it appeared up there. Maybe there's a workbench right here as well. You don't want it to be bigger. A little workbench where people chill out. You know, it'd probably be closer this way, up against the wall. There'd definitely be one up here. We don't want it to be in the way of the work, so let's put this one up front. That maybe these guys are a little bit, you know, they sit near the edge and like overlook what's going on. I like the idea of those crates being up there. Let's say that this rubble has been just like recently cleared out. Let's shrink that down. And put it, let's say kind of eerily it's like by this rock here. You know, though, I'm thinking about it, that doesn't really make sense because these attacks have been relatively recent, I believe. So there wouldn't be a skeleton so much. I'm gonna get rid of it. I've decided against it. Though it is fun. I love adding a body. The implication that something has died here at some point is always a great thing for a D&D campaign, especially a battle area. Put this guy over here. Now these are minecarts, so technically they would have had to be on rails. And we do have a rail tool. I believe we have a path tool. That's a rail, am I wrong? Oh yeah, we got this. Rail without ties. I like the look of it with ties more, so maybe, I think there would be some rails running. Let's select this stuff and move it out of the way real quick. And I think there'd be a rail running, definitely from the mine out. Let's go ahead and grab, where'd we go, path tool. Still on layer 1. It would be running all the way, probably into that. Let's have it transition in as a fade, so it's going to be coming out of that darkness. Ooh, that's too big. Okay, let's take that down to 1. This is just a line that goes up. up to right there. I think that makes sense that there'd be like a cart depot, and I think it would also maybe smoothness. I don't want it to be very smooth. I want it to be pretty. Let's take it to 0.5 here, and then it. Ooh, that's probably too much of a bend. Yeah, you can't drive around that. Let's take it to 0.75. 0.75. We're gonna take it to here. It's coming out. You know, I think it would also be cool if it kind of, this central one comes down, but there's actually multiple that like intersect with it. I can't handle it being that square. How do I want to do this? What am I doing? What an ironic statement for the given context. Not ironic. We all know how do we want to do this as a Critical Role classic. What do I want to do here? There would have to be some way for them to circle. So maybe it comes this way, just straight out of the mine. Comes to about here and then is gonna pivot so it comes underneath. And then it's gonna circle back this way. Don't like that it did that. It maybe re-intersects like that. I think that's cool. Okay, as a plan, but I'm gonna get rid of that fade effect. So it comes in. You know what? It actually could circle all the way kind of in front of all of them, because that's maybe where, you know, they're all loading this thing up. So it comes around that stone, back down this way. Nice. Okay. And then it transitions back in, maybe right about there. That works. That convinces me that it loops back together. So there's like a little minecart path. So stuff is coming in here full. It's coming around here. Again, this is definitely a departure from the original, but I think it's a fun addition. And then they go out emptied over here. Shrink that down a little bit. Start heading back out that way. I think there'd be, kind of want to shift it. People could still get by. I might just have to make this entrance bigger, because I feel like people would still be able to get by the path. Let's move this to layer 2. Ah, yeah, there we go. It looks like it's heading into the darkness very nicely there. Got it. Okay. Yeah, okay, so put that guy back on, adjust that guy back on. Let me get copy, paste one more. Bring that guy. This guy was about to be unloaded under, you know, cleared out by that cart or by the crane. Uh-oh. Layer 2, but to back maybe? The crane seems like it's going underneath it. Don't need that happening. Okay, I'm gonna do something risky here. I'm gonna separate them. Now I can grab those. Oh. Let's move that. And I want all of this to be up front. I just have to grab every individual piece. Let's move it to layer 2. There we go. Layer 2. And then also that rope. Gotta bring that one to layer 3. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now it's on top of the cart. Perfect. That looks very fun and interactive. Hi, Captain Ziggy. Hello. Map building goes well. Thank you. If you're just joining us, we're actually doing a recreation of the first ever battle map from the Critical Role live stream. The arrival at Craghammer, battle in the mines. Yeah, but we're doing a little bit of a reimagining of that. It's Reimagining's Day, and if we have time, we might do Bag End from Lord of the Rings, but I feel like we're not going to have time because, as always, I've gone a little bit hard on this map. But map making is a delight, as always. Okay. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Okay, so we've got this bench. Let's add some shadows on stuff. A shadow on that. Shadow on here. Just stuff that would start obviously having shadows. For instance, this would definitely have a shadow. This cart, wherever it ends up, is definitely going to have a shadow because it's large enough that it would be casting one. I'll add a shadow to this too. Okay, so this stuff is sort of cleared. Let's put this cleared rubble over here. That one's there, just in homage to the original. What do you do? A pirate ship? Ooh, I would love to do a pirate ship one day, and I will absolutely do that. So, sadly, I don't get very much time, but I do have Dungeondraft, so I just use the pre-made ones. Yeah, there are some ships in Dungeondraft, but they're not. Whew, they're pretty simple. They're more like rowboats and such. But I would love, that would be a huge fabrication to do. But I think that'd be a lot of fun to try and make a really big made like a big combined prop thing. I can do that. I can save that for my next reimaginings on Dungeondraft. I'll find a pirate ship I like and try and build it out of the existing assets. Are you currently running a nautical themed campaign? Oh. Using Dungeondraft, I understand. Yeah. It's a lot of time. I think once you start getting, for instance, this crane, building something like that would take me, I could probably spend an entire session of Map Maven just building that custom prop. Oof. Let's put this rebel also over there. Yeah, I'm running Pirates of the Ethereal Expanse from a Ghostfire Gaming. Oh, that's cool. I love a strong theme for a campaign, and honestly, I think nautical themes don't get as much shine as they should because it's such a perfect natural setting for why are these the only people in charge? Because they're the only ones on the ship. They have to be the heroes. I love stuff like that. Okay, so we've got our rebel gonna be Seas of Vaji by Triviality. I don't think I've heard of that one. That's cool. I assume these are module. That's like another module. Let's go ahead and put this guy maybe he's over against this wall here. Just ready and waiting in case he needs to do something. Let's put these tools, let's put them up here. Sailing is the main form of transportation. So all the adventure really takes place on the individual islands. That's kind of surprising. Campaign setting. Thank you. Sorry for messing that up, but thank you for the correction. I think there needs to be some sort of work table over here for these smaller tools. Just something simple they would be stashing stuff on. I like that. It matches the things we already have. I'll just put this, let's put it in the center here, actually. Sort of central. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know what Johnny's plans are post Curse of Strahd for different campaigns. I love the idea. I personally love a short form stuff, so I love doing one-shots and little mini modules. I think are such a great form of entertainment. So also I think it's a lot easier to get people to sign on for those, but I don't know any secrets, unfortunately. I can't let you in on the secrets of that of TXP on that front. these. Because these seem like things that would get used in groups. Yeah, this is maybe the supply table, copy paste. Are you far, you're also playing in Curse of Strahd there. Are you further behind than we are? Like, are you, are you still earlier in the campaign than where we are at? Or do you not know even? I'm gonna drop a crystal on here because I think that would be cool. Like maybe they did find something a little fancy down there and this guy's tinkering over it to figure out what's going on. Let's make it a fun color. We don't have any, you know, we always are putting in, let's put an orange crystal. I don't think I see orange crystals very often. Yeah, level 8. Cool. Okay. Well, I think I saw you on the stream the other day. So whenever you catch up to us, I'm sure we'll be happy to have you. Let's go ahead and put this right here. And then I like the idea of there being like little chips of the crystal that this guy's broken off, that he's starting to work with. And I will grab I love a good cloth on a work table. I don't know why. They just feel right to me. They make it feel like there's workspace. And that thing's laying on top of it. Let's make this like a nice neutral, and let's do a complementary color to make it pop. Color science. I don't know if that's true. Like a complementary blue. Yeah. Does that look all right? Let's make it a little bit smaller. He's kind of collecting them. Nice. And let's move that to the front. So he's collecting these little crystals here as he's breaking them off. Cool. I'm going to turn this tool. Also, I think shrink it because that's enormous. That would be like a double-handed one. I like the idea. That's a chisel, so maybe to front. Shrink it down a little bit. Front again, layer 2. There we go. Maybe it's stuck in there actually. That'll be fun. Right like that. Applying it's kind of stuck in there. Little hammer. Twist that around so it looks like he's holding it. Shrink it down. Nice. Cool. Right, very early in the campaign, when they're the earlier ones. When I'm sad I never got to overlap with them. It is kind of like we have little ghosts of the campaign that we hear, you know, we hear about. They obviously come up. Their characters were still very. Of course, Katya's been there since the beginning, but Beatrice and also Ellen never really got to know them. So it's almost a shared ghost that people who used to be in the campaign. It also suits Curse of Strahd to have a bit of a rotating door because people tend to die. Let's put this over here, kind of tucked back there, and then we're definitely, well, he's got his that, and then let's put some, let's back it out and put some torches on. Oh wow, this is looking really lived in. I love that. Okay, I need to put something over there still. Let me move this over here and let's sort this out first. So I think this pile of tools, let's just take another table. And we'll put that over here. And we'll shrink it because it doesn't need to be as big. Shadow on. Also, that reminds me. Shadow on. This one will just nuzzle right here in the corner. Right there. And these things are all sort of just leaned up against it. This one here. No, right here. Oh no, keeps making me select the wrong one. Now we'll turn this, giving it this nice little, they're stacked next to each other effect. Put that one up on the table. Put a couple chisels up on the table, or not chisels. I don't have the words at the moment to describe what this is. This mysterious object that is used for mining. Hi. Parts of the brain must shut down. But there's a couple of spare guys that, you know, the miners are using. I don't know what that thing is supposed to be, but I'll keep it. I feel like it's like a nice thing they could use for leverage to like pry stuff off of the wall. So maybe it's over there. Cool. Okay, let's back it out. Let's back it out. I don't think I really need anything over there. I like the idea of these crates being here. These are some things they've actively filled in from this mine. Maybe haven't. No, that's crowding it. Let's take them over here. And also, they'd probably be lined up this way, so they take up less of the walkway. And flip that one. Ka-chow. Nice. Okay. There we go. Just giving it a little bit of activity implied. I don't know how much I'm gonna get done with these houses. I like the idea of that being there. I might put some paths between them. I'm gonna add a couple other roofs here. Which one is that? Okay. Let's make this one actually. I want to make this one huge. So that'll make it easier for us. Whoop. Drew it the opposite way I expected it to. Even if I make it perfectly square, that's the way to go. Okay. So let's move this one out. See the big old house. It's up here. And that's going to be, again, extending off the map, so we don't need to see the back of it necessarily. I'm going to use this guy to maybe layer... Let's bring it, maybe it's over here, layered on like that. Oh, that looks like a cool, like, eave off of the house. And then, you know, let's do another copy paste to this. Whoop, undo. Let's move this guy. Yeah, that looks cool. Nice, okay, so now that I've got that, let's put these way high up. Let's put these on layer 4, just so we know they're not next to anything else. And make them bigger, because these are big old, like, work area torches. So let's put one here, definitely on either side of the entrance, because this is an underground city, so there would certainly be a lot of lighting. Oop. Paste. I think we'll just put one kind of by maybe each of the tunnel entrances. Gosh, I'm going to be doing a lot of zooming in and out. Okay. Let's do one right there. Let's turn off snapping. Copy. Paste. I'm going to make my life easier and go to here so I can choose not to select all. I just want to select anything on layer 4, which is why we put these on layer 4. Okay. Paste. And another one. Okay. That's all of those. Let's put some over here. Okay, I feel like I am going to put some lighting effects coming out of the houses, because I think that's cool that maybe like light is spilling out of those houses that overlook the quarry. Wow, this looks so cool. I'm so proud of it. Okay, let's go ahead and take level settings, layer, trace layer. Let's just go ahead and drop that opacity down. Okay. I don't really want to mess with the color of the ground anymore. I might add in some different textures to the ground. Some gravel, dirt, rocky terrain, just to shift it around a bit. Cracked earth, dirt, gravel. I do like gravel. It kind of breaks it up. It makes it a real brock. Yeah. Nope, too much. Let's lower that intensity. But I'm okay with the brush size because I'm just using it to kind of speckle stones. Intensity much too low. Does not want to... Okay. So the intensity is way too low. We're definitely going to have to put it up to probably about 1 for it to start doing stuff for us. What is the magical formula I need? Okay, there we go. Okay, it's breaking it up nicely. I don't like when it bunches up too much like that, which is what happens when the intensity is too high. Kind of drawing it. These different areas, it'll start popping up. I'll probably reduce some of that. Just want some pebbles, essentially. Let's go through and blend this. We can also change the blending option. I wonder if this would be a time to use... I turned it off. Smooth blending. No, that's not what I want. But I'm going to go through and blend out some of this. Maybe, nope, that's not what I meant to do. Limestone. And then let's change that to dirt and see if that can... That's really kind of just making it look more the same. I do imagine this area a little bit more stone. Let's undo that. Let's just go limestone and I'll use that to break this back up. Too much on that one. Just to make it look like stone on top of the limestone. And then I'm going to use this to spread it out a little bit. Too much. So gentle little clicking, little soft clicks to sort of tease it out as you're painting it through. Let's bring that up. Let's lower that intensity, or maybe lower the brush size. Feel a little bit more targeted. Okay, that you know, I'm happy with that. And again, we're not even into our lighting yet. I think that's all I want to do here for now. I want to see exactly how much I can get away with. I think I'm going to need to make a big old roof back here to fill that in, just to make sure it's going all the way off the map. So let me go ahead and grab a roof. I'm going to change it over to gable style. And don't want it snapping because it won't work properly, but... well, actually I can make it snap. And then I'll just shrink this down to the size I want it to be. But I need to turn on the correct layers. Let's just say roofs. Shrink. Yeah, see, that's giving some sort of illusion to me. I wonder if I can, you know what? Let's get wild. Let's really let the cat out the bag, if you will, and just make it huge. Let's make it like proportional. We want it proportional. Okay. And I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna rotate it. Wow, this is like a multi-tiered mansion-looking thing. And then I'm gonna shrink that down so it matches up that edge. Cool. Okay. I think I'm going to add some shadows onto that once I get into lighting. But for now, that works for me. And then I'm going to add on... I'm just going to pull this one back, because I'm assuming the map's going to cut off right about here, I guess, is the farthest I'd want it to go. Yeah. That's still pretty big, but it would cut off there as well. And I think there'd be another layer of the thing, honestly. So I might add a whole other layer of the stonework as well. Let's make that, again, let's go with 5 to make it huge. Bring it from over here, though. Because I really just want it to fill in behind this building. Bigger than that. Again, that area is going to be off screen when we export it, so that's okay. Oh my god. I just looked at this and saw how absolutely complicated it is. Let's stay focused. Let's get on to lighting. Also, it looks like, let's put this little beam over here. Let's assume it was like fell out of the roof somewhere as a support beam that got pried free. So I'll just put that right there. Well, you know what we'd also have? Sorry, just one more thing, if you wouldn't mind me adding more set deck. Let's go ahead and grab some more lanterns. Because there would certainly be a lantern on this guy. Let's turn off snapping. Where this guy's been working on his dissection of this thing. And then I think there'd also be some lanterns over here. And some torches that people could grab and light. That's not how you spell torch, but it got me what I wanted. Okay. That'd be another supply that they'd certainly just have like laying around as people are going down into the mines. Nice. And let's make this big. Maybe that's like a grand lamp that they can stick their torch into to ignite it. It's a big one. I'll move these over. Oop. Shift those back. Okay, yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Okay, let's start messing with lights. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna turn off all our layers so we're not accidentally grabbing stuff, and filter it so we're only grabbing our lights. And then let's go ahead and start adding stuff in. I kinda wanna put these guys on first since we know what they're doing. Let's see that widget so we can see how wide that is. I want it to be about the size of a torch. I mean, it's not exactly the size of a torch, because I've found that like matching it up doesn't always make it really appear how you want it to. If you match like the exact, oh, it spreads 20 feet of light or however much light a torch spreads. It just doesn't look quite as aesthetically pleasing as I would want it to. And then those are going to be extra big. So let's just make these guys. Let's make this one a little bit smaller since it's this one's just really for this guy at the table, and I might also reduce the opacity because I don't want to change the what's it called? I don't want to wash it out by making it overly bright. And then these bigger ones, those are going to be like, ooh, yeah, that's cool. Put that back up to 1. And then this one, let's say that this one on the table is still like a lower burning fire, but it is really just a place to ignite your torches. It's not really about sharing light or spreading light, I should say. Let's see how well we can actually see that. And then, wow, that's a lot of little light sources. And then we know we want our big emergency light that's going off. Just make that blaring red. And I'm going to put a little bead of focus on each of this guy's eyes. But then also lower the intensity and sort of spread it out. So there's also just a red wash. Not that low. Maybe we need it more like that. Yeah. Less centered. But it's implied it's coming from the eyes. That red sort of like the sirens are going off look. And then I wanted some light coming from within the buildings. But I sort of want to look at our ambient light for this. Let's do that. The shivers of the lowered ambient light. That looks beautiful already. Okay. I might just take this because it's inside. So, I mean, there isn't really a color to this light, really. I mean, I might put it a little blue just so it's got some... See, that black is looking really nice. Just like a really dark gray. It's really working for me. Okay, yeah, let's go with that. And then I want to add these lights within the houses. Okay, but I have to put them... Ooh. Is there a way to do that? Because lights are coming out from over top. I don't know if there's a way for me to make that work. Let me zoom in for a sec. I guess I could... do a little experiment here. So if I do a weird little building tool, stick with me. Doesn't not matter what this looks like because it's going to show up underneath the door or underneath the building. But if we just do that, right? And then we're going to put a window. Let's put 2 windows on this building. We'll do it anchored. It's going to allow light. No, we don't want it freestanding. Gotta move our roof out of the way. Roof. Okay. Why not let me move my roof? Lighting? Huh. Let me just turn the lighting off for a second here. All off. Roof. Maybe, oh, because it wouldn't let me select anything that was above roofs, I guess? Or above walls. Huh, this is so strange. I wonder why I can't see this object. Roof, layer. Let's just say all. Let me just select all so I can see everything. Okay, weird. Okay, so now we've got this weird circle. Trust me for a second, everyone. We're going to take a portal tool. We've got these lights. It doesn't really matter what these look like. We're going to set it to allow light, anchored, freestanding. It doesn't want to select onto it. That's so interesting. Huh, I've never seen this before. Let me delete this building real quick. Building tool, edit points. No, actually we're going to do this and hit Alt. That'll just get rid of it. Now I want to build this thing like that. Okay, grab a portal tool. Huh, I wonder why it's not showing up on there. Let me do it square. Maybe that'll make a difference. Ah, there we go. Okay, so I'll just put a couple of these. Just put 2 on that. Let's complete this experiment. So next thing we're going to do is grab a lighting tool. I'm going to grab this. Let's say it's a nice... Let's make it a slightly different color light coming from the buildings, because then it'll stand out as different. Let's increase that range. And I think I need to put on the lighting tool so I can see it. Woo! We see what I'm doing here, everybody. It's going to be too much, though. Still too much. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's nice. And let's say it's like a little bit more right there. Now, my thought is... okay, so that is still going to show through and cover it. So I wonder if there's a way... I have happens if I adjust this building tool? Edit points, like shrink it way down. It might get a little funky, but if I essentially make it a flat room that this light is coming out of. Ooh, my alarm is going off. Does it really work? It's such a cool effect though. But I don't want it to be on top of the roofs. I wonder. You know what I could do? I think there's ways to say that you want stuff to block light. Yeah, I'm just messing with it. Undo. Just staring at it. I'm hoping it's going to give me an answer as I run through millions of things in my brain. Let me go and do edit points again. Huh. Oop, we got too many walls. Undo. You know what? I think I'm just... You know what I could do? Okay, let me delete this. Here's a possible solution. Let's see if this works. And edit points. I don't want any of that there. I want to delete this whole thing. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the wall tool. This is going to be so strange, but I'm going to build little pockets for the light to come out of. So if I do edit points under and then essentially build like a little like lighting shaft, for want of a bit of better word, might be able to hide my light source a little bit. Like that, and then if this doesn't work, I'm going to give up on the lighting thing because it'll be too complicated. Okay. I'm not sure I'm convinced, everybody. Because that looks a little funky, in my opinion, to have it coming out like that. Though I could try and cover it with other things, I don't think it's necessarily worth it, because I think lights go over top of everything. You can't put lights underneath objects, so I don't think there's any way to really cover it up. Okay, well, it was a cool idea, but it is not worth it trying to futz around with it for this long, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of that. Place that back up here. We still have these cool, imposing shadows of buildings around. I'm still happy with that. I am going to copy and paste one of these torches up here, because I think there would be one by the big old crane. By the crane crank, probably. Whoop. What happened? Make it bigger. Okay. Put that down here. And twist it. Let's put that on the front of this. We'll just put it there. And I think we also have one down here where the carts are being unloaded. This is why you gotta deselect stuff, because it starts getting real complicated. Objects and lights only. Okay. I don't need to know how the weather is today. Don't ask me. Go away. Okay. So let's just move this guy over so we can select this and rotate it. Just put this up on the wall so it's maybe like 10 feet up on the wall. Put that right there. That looks nice. Okay. Let's back it back out. Amazing. I think I'm really happy with this right now. We got all these cool different lighting features. We've got the environment. We're going to cut it off right about there and then on the wall, so we're not really messing with any of this space. Depending on how it looks when I cut it, I would probably add in, let me just do that real quick. I can add in a couple more layers of this rock to make sure that, you know, we're not having a huge blank space up here. Yeah, just one more of those. to make sure it's really filled in. Because we're probably looking at... Go away, go away. Don't want to see any of this. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So we'd be looking at maybe like cutting from here over. We'd want to see the crane down there and then back up this wall. So it doesn't really matter if that's there, and then here we go. That looks beautiful. And this is a reimagining of the first ever battle map we see on the Critical Role live campaign. So we have all of our stuff. We've got a very fun area for the characters to get to explore. They've got like different levels they can mess with. Yeah, I love the environmental storytelling here. You can tell there's a workspace. You can tell there's people working in and around here. That's so fun. Wow. Okay. And obviously we don't need to add it in because it's not going to be shown up on the map, but this path tool would continue back that way of the mine cart leading off into the mountain. Awesome. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would add to this. I don't think so. But while I think, I'm going to take a drink of water because I'm truly parched by this point. We're missing a light. Oh, I don't want a green light. I want that light. Copy and paste. Right over there. There would be another light. Lovely. Yeah, wow, what an incredible space this would be to explore. It really does immerse you in this world, seeing it realized like this. Okay, well, we have about 45 minutes left here, so I'm trying to see what I want to do. I definitely don't have time to build bag end, but I'm going to go ahead and save this. All these different things. We'll just call that CR map, and I'll save that there. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually make a new one, and let's just... I want to try and build... I'm still going to make it big, but I'm not going to be using the whole space. I do want to try and build something from Lord of the Rings, but I'm not going to import it in the same way. I'm going to build one of the classic scenes from the original Fellowship of the Ring, which is the scene where the hobbits, Sam and Frodo have just encountered Merry and Pippin, and one of the riders is coming up the road, and they're hunkering underneath the road bank. And of course that did not turn into a combat, but it certainly could have, and it would have been a TPK right out the bat. There's absolutely no way they would have been able to handle that. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that road scene. I think that would be a fun one because it's like a natural scene. It's very different from what we just did. And let's go ahead and put on some nice outside nature, since it's not so spooky here, at least not until the writer shows up. So we'll go ahead and go into our nice nature sounds while I work on this map. This one, I would imagine, isn't going to take very long. Let's go. Final last words, as always. So of course we have a road. We've got the raised embankment. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start building our road. Where do we want to do that? How do we want to do it? You know, actually, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a big old tree, because that's what we're under. We're under trees and roots. So let's just build it out. Let's be a little bit less methodical with this one. So I like this guy. Can't remember exactly what the tree cover looked like, but I feel like a nice mixed patch tree would be nice. And it was pretty big, so I'm going to make that a large tree. It's going up over the road here. I'm going to build out the roots from there. Yeah, and we got all these roots to mess with. Perfect. Let's put these underneath, because they're sort of growing out from the tree and out from that. I think that's like a nice structure right there, actually, though it would probably be going more that way since they were hunkered underneath it. Yeah. Let's zoom in. Just sort of layer these in. Until it starts looking like what we want to. Now there was 4 of them. They're hobbits. They could have easily filled in this area pretty, you know, they're tiny little guys. So they really didn't need that much space. It probably would only have been about, I mean, it could have been maybe 7 foot from side to side. So I think that's enough to start with. Honestly, there's not too many of them, though we are going to keep building up that root structure side to side where it continued off down the road, just layering it to create the illusion of it continuing. And then got that root bank. There's obviously other trees, and there's the road up here. Let's go ahead and grab a terrain brush to start building it. So the road was dirt, maybe dirt and gravel, and then obviously there's a lot of dirt and undergrowth everywhere around. So let's go ahead and make this grass or moss. I feel like it was a little bit more mossy, and then we're going to take this dirt terrain, decrease our brush size, and then we're going to increase our intensity. Why waste time? Because all of this was going to be dirt. Let's say that bend goes off that way. Well, no, it was a long straightaway because there's that shot of Frodo with the rack focus where he's looking and he realizes they've been in the middle of the road and he says, "Get off the road!" And he shoves everyone out of the way. I love that scene. Obviously. Such a good scene. So we'll make this actually a nice long straightaway. And again, we're not going to fill the whole map here. This is much longer than you would need it for this encounter. I am not capping. What am I capping about? Are you saying you don't think that's a good scene? How dare you, chat? Okay, so it will, you know, I think it'd be a little bit wider than that. It wasn't a huge road, but there was definitely clearance enough that 2 carts could have probably passed. Oh my gosh. I'm being absolutely harassed online right now. I don't even know what that one means. Are you just finding all the stickers? I appreciate the participation. Obviously, this is a dirt embankment here. I'm wondering if we could do a material tool here. I don't think so, though. Nah, I don't think that's going to work for me. So let's go ahead and let's just keep messing with our dirt. There's going to be dirt under here as well because we remember it's like the underbrush and dirt underneath the tree. And then on the other side, the embankment leading up over there. You're being absolutely ridiculous in there, Big Time Macca. Oh, amazing. Cool. It added it together. I think the other side also had trees building up on it, but there was also an embankment. And I think the best way to do that is going to be with our path tool. Even though this is stone, I'm going to go ahead and, for the sake of this, how tall was that? It's probably a little, I mean, they're halflings. It was pretty tall for them. So it was probably actually only maybe a 5-foot embankment on the other side of the road. So I'll go ahead and use this at scale 1, which to me reads as 5 feet. And then I'm going to do that down this side as well. Not the other way. Yeah. Again, we're reimagining to make it make sense for us. So while you might see it as more of a, you might want to, if it breaks the immersion of it being stone, you can always just futz around until you find an effect you like. But I like this. I'm definitely going to build up that root structure on either side. I'm going to have trees on either side. And I think that's really what I'd want. And then I'd want to give some other hiding spots within the forest moving away from the road, because obviously if this is getting into a combat, we're dealing with them having to make a break for it and probably trying to find other places to hide. So I'm going to go ahead and create a couple other embankments. We're going to want to do this with a grow and shrink effect. And just sort of layered out little areas of build up of this the ground sort of building up and rolling over itself in little waves. I'll add some on this side as well. I actually will have one that intersects with the road. So maybe there's a one portion of the road that is actually about 10 foot off. So if somebody wanted to get the high ground, they certainly could. Nice. Okay. Then I'm going to add in terrain. I'm going to start with some plants then. So let's just go down to our plants tool. I scroll as slowly as possible. Hot dog stand in there, but there wasn't a hot dog stand. I mean, we could have reimagined it that that's a hot dog stand. That's why that's why the writer was coming, because he could smell hot dogs and he had to get there as quick as possible. Yeah, I can certainly do that. Plants. We love some plants. That's not what I wanted though. I want trees. Where are my trees? Trees. Okay, so I definitely like there being some dead ones, but I'm just gonna go ahead and select a bunch of these. Oop, what do I want? Shift. I feel like it's changed its settings. Oh, it's because we're on the wrong tool. We're not on the scatter tool here. Uh-oh. My little headphones came unplugged. There we go. I like some of these too. I don't think there'd be any stumps necessarily, but I do think there'd be some of these smaller dead trees. And I don't think it was, I think it was, you know, a decent time of year, so there wasn't too much, it was all would have been pretty green at the time. Increase the size a little bit. So we have some varying sizes. Just start adding these in. I like the idea of this one's maybe coming in over here, hanging over the road. It was a pretty dense forest. I mean, it wasn't dense that they couldn't move around at all, but it was, there's a fair bit of trees. I'm not liking this tree so much. I think I want to change them so they're all matching. So let me deselect those two. Itchy nose, apologies. And I'll layer those so I can get rid of these ones I don't like. Put that one here. But I'll put it underneath. It's extending out from that one. Because we want this about square, right? So it's going to be here. We want it extending off the map. Let's just keep populating in. Let's just fill this area. Let's put it over. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Right there. Okay. I think that works for me. Now I'm going to start layering in plant life to actually fill in around the bottom of these as well. Kind of want to build up that road work first. So let's go to roots. And I want to grab these guys because I really like the shape of these. I'm not sure I can scatter tool them though because they'll keep laying in the wrong order. So I think I'm just going to do it one at a time. Let's do this. Let's zoom in a little bit. Build them up. These are still going this way. Bring it out over the road. This would have probably been where they fell over on top of each other. Let's grab some of these. Again, it's not an exact recreation, but once we get the lighting on there, it'll start looking a little bit more integrated. There's a real thicket of roots around this guy, so I kind of want to just build that area up a little bit. And I'll probably add some now. Since they don't have to lay as exact along the row of the road, I am going to go ahead and go over to my scatter tool. scatter tool, and I'm going to select all of these guys. I'm going to shrink them down because I don't want them to be that big. Scale 1 is fine. And then I'm going to do under, so I can start. This guy's too big. Let me just put him down here. Let me zoom out a little bit. So I can just scatter these out from around some of our big old trees here. There was just thick twisting roots all over that ground. Let's connect it between those two. This would be definitely, I would definitely count this as difficult terrain, just with the amount of root structures you'd have to be struggling around. Maybe that one's going from there. That might be about all I want to do. I'll do that there. Okay. So we got these lovely roots in there. Now we're going to start messing with some brush, some plant life. So I'm going to go back to our plant life. And we're going to start grabbing some bush, some shrub we can mess with, because there'd certainly be, you know, some berries around. Let's go ahead and grab. What do we want? We want to be layering stuff on top. First things first, I'm going to actually grab all my trees and move them up a layer. I'm going to move them above because we know they're going to be sitting higher than pretty much everything else on the map. So I might as well just move them to like above roofs or something so we don't accidentally put them underneath stuff. Let's put that to above walls. Why make a fuss? Okay. So let's go ahead and grab scatter tool plants. Now this will definitely go on the bottom, so I'm going to grab all of these. I don't want them to rotate because I want all my grass facing the same way. Let's do that. Zoom in a little bit. How's that look? Shadow off. Where is this? Okay. And I do think that grass is a little small to me, so I'm gonna actually increase these scales to, let's make it scale 2 for both of them, so it's all right around the same size. Let's get this over here. That's better. Okay, so now we're just gonna start building this up wherever we think we need it. So I'm just gonna put some of this in here. Might actually, yeah, there we go. Just holding it down, dropping that in, making this look really thick and green. But wherever it starts getting a little odd, we can start messing with that. Sort of patchy. Certainly be some down here. Filling in this space, adding texture. We'll take it off the stones. Though also there could be some like shrub and moss coming up through the stones, and that's really what this is trying to create the illusion of. Nice, nice, nice. One thing you can do is this spread is how you control how close the moss is sitting together. So if I put it like really far apart, they're only going to show up that often. Whereas if I put it really, it's just going to look like that, which looks a little chaotic, in my opinion. So let's put it to, what was it? I think it was like, that looks good. Keep drawing that in. Because it's grass, it can layer up on top of each other. Certainly be some in here. Yeah. Okay, let's put it around the more green trees, I think. Continuing off this way. Got it. Okay. So that's that. Now I'm going to put in some nice lining stuff. I love these vines. So I'm actually just going to put these... let's put some of these over, actually, because it can help us cover up some of these odd parts of these vines. Little sleight of hand trick. do. Yeah, we just want it to be thick with plant life. This place was so verdant when they were there. Honestly, I think that's why the scene, one of the reasons the scene stuck with me so much is I thought the forest just looked so beautiful. And I loved seeing such like a raw, natural space like that. Even though they were in very dire straits, I thought it was charming. Thank you. I also think it looks pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing that. Doing a little bit of that. Okay. What else do I want to add in? I don't think those plants really make sense. These I could get behind. There being like some little clutches of that. Maybe some ferns, certainly. Let's put those over. They're on layer 1. These guys we can do a rotation because it doesn't matter. Oh, I also just realized the other one wasn't on rotate. It's fine. It didn't make a mess. Big old things of plants. There definitely would be some plants up here. That would have been giving our protagonist some lovely cover. Again, we can drag this one too. Don't want it to drag there though. Maybe this one kind of comes up that way. Some more plant cover here for the escape attempt. They wanted to try and sneak. Now this tree I actually want to be on top of. Or I'll just avoid the base, it's fine. I'll layer it later. Maybe that comes that way. Little line of plants. Okay, that's nice. I think I want some more of them up here. Let me zoom out. Oof, oof, oof. It's freaking out. It's making little lights. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. Calm down, Map. It's all right. Whoa there. Again, this is for me where the real artistry comes in. You're just kind of making it. You keep adding stuff on it till it feels right. Till it starts to feel like that feels like a real place. Okay, I do want some of these bushes. Like, I think it'd be cute if there was like some blackberry bushes available. Because I think there actually were blackberries or some sort of berry they were eating there. Let's make it a nice. Let's make it really pop. Blue? No. Let's do like a really purple. But a bright purple. Yeah, okay. And then, you know, I kind of want them to be, where do I want them? Where do I want them? I feel like I'm on this upper bank, so maybe there's a bunch of them busheled up in these areas. I think we're probably rummaging through those hungry little hobbits. Some over here. Maybe a couple more down there. And we don't want too many of those because I do think it's a little special. Let's put a couple over here just to balance it visually. These will be sort of trailing off the map this way. So we don't need to complete it. Yeah, that looks very nice. I might pull some of those in. There's so many objects on here, my map is freaking out. They're like, it's so heavy! Why have you put so many objects on this? Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to add in some lovely texture, and then I'll start messing with lighting because we already got it, and I can see my little thing. Ooh, I can see my little guys mess. They're freaking out a little bit. There's too many things on here. Let's go ahead and let's turn off all so we're not touching anything. Let's turn off all so we're not touching anything. That'll keep it a little bit more calm, I think. we're just gonna mess with our textures. So we're gonna go down to here, grab our terrain brush. Obviously we said there's dirt. There's definitely gonna be some dry grass as well. So I think I'm gonna layer those in as we go. Just add some dirt. I'm gonna lower that intensity. And then I'm gonna increase my brush size. Just sort of paint in some like dirt areas. Let's actually make it a little smaller. Show this area. Got that layers of dirt, the layers of brush. Too circular, just patchy. There's some coming out from here. Continuing up that way. Okay, I'll have some coming off this side here too. Just dragging off the side of our map. So it won't fill in all the way, that's fine. Then I'm gonna take this. I like the idea of there being some dry grass as well. Shrink that down. Maybe increase the intensity a little bit. Some dry grass. Ooh, decrease the intensity actually. Take it to just there. Carve in some of that, maybe around our other areas. Make this grass a little bit more patchy. Ooh, yeah, that looks nice. So it's less all green. We're getting in these other fun colors that's growing in around. I love the way that's naturally growing in around the dirt. Makes it seem like those areas just, you know, something happened to the ground. Do the same. Whoop. We'll do the same thing down here. A little too strong for my taste. Kind of want it to build in right from that edge. Oop, but not up on the road. Well, I'll abandon that for right now. That looks nice. Let's do this over here. Come on, there we go. I'm gonna paint some of this out. I got a little too circular for my taste. There we go. That looks nice and natural. Now the only thing I might add here is I'm gonna add some shadow onto the road to make it, and the area underneath to make it more clear that there's like a nice deep burrow here that our hobbits are hiding in. So we're gonna put that underneath. I don't think we need it that wide. Oh, actually that looks all right. I'm gonna layer that in a little bit so you can see that area that they're hiding in. And then I think I will try and cast some shadows. So I'm gonna get rid of this, put that down to none as well. So there's like a nice shadow being cast in from this side of the road. We'll put it over layer 1 over top. So it now should be, yeah, there we go. Shadow. You know what? I want it to be bigger. I want it to be bigger, and that's okay. Let's put there. Yeah, so it's casting a long shadow across the whole road. Because at this point, they had been out for a long time during the day. We were getting into the evening hours. Ooh, that looks very satisfying. I'm going to shrink this one down and do the same thing up here. Just to make that ridge line nice and shady. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger on the other side too. So I'll put it up at like 4. That's fine. So all of this is getting that shade treatment as well. Cool. Okay. Nice. Okay, so we've got that. Now we can just go ahead and we've got the nice shadow cast across the road there. Ooh, that's so fun. Okay, let's go ahead and do our overall lighting, and then this map is also going to be done. So let's darken it a little bit. It was daytime, so we don't need it too dark. I'm going to put a nice soft yellowish. Well, it was getting a little bit toward the evening. Maybe we'll do it in a soft blue. Not quite so dark. Not quite so blue. Just a faint one. And then we're going to definitely do our nice sunset effect. Now we are going to assume the sun is coming from the direction off the map to the north, because that is where the shadow is coming from. Let's zoom out. We're going to make this huge, lower, maybe lower that intensity, because the sun is coming through this way. Do we want it to be more of a wash? No, I like it. No, I think we do want it that way. So that side's nice and warm, and then the other side we're going to put in not necessarily a purple, but maybe a more of a blue, just to show that, you know, the shadows of the forest. We're definitely going to take that intensity down. Okay, and then we're going to go to selection tool, filters. I just want to grab my lights. Let's zoom in. Barely zoom in. We'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. Edge that in a little bit there, just so it feels like the sun's coming through the trees. Bring these in a little bit. Okay, and let's see how that looks if we zoom in. Oh man, that looks so pretty. Yeah, that makes me very happy. That's all I want. So again, we're going to be cutting this map off from about here over, just seeing the road. So we're not seeing all of it, but that looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm very happy about that. The only thing I'm going to add on this road, other than what's already here, is I'm going to add a couple path tools onto the road to indicate that there have been, you know, carts and things moving along with our drag marks. So let's take that down to 1.5. And let's see what it looks like when we put it on there. It might be too big. No, that looks fine. Take that down. There's a little cart that's jangled down the road. There we go. And I'll put this one, snap it, so we can try and make it parallel. Bent a little bit that way and then continued on. Nice, and then we'll do another one heading the other way. This one maybe took a bit of a hard turn at one point. Just people moving and grooving. This person's not as good at controlling their cart, so it swerves a couple times. Maybe a slightly bigger cart too. Yeah. Just to indicate that this is a busy road that people were traveling down, I'm going to put one more line from there. And have that cross up that way. Now let's have it clear that way. Great. Okay, so now this looks like a well-trafficked little path. And I don't have any other details I'd want to add. This seems like the perfect place for your tiny hobbitses to be avoiding some near-death experiences. Great. Wonderful. Well, we visited a couple places to here today. I don't know. I mean, honestly, both of them are terrifying, but as I said, this forest is somewhere I would absolutely want to visit just because it's beautiful. I don't think I'd want to be chased there by the hooded rider, but you know, I think I'd like to take a stroll through that forest at some point, maybe if I had a guide with me. But regardless of whether or not you would like to travel to either of these reimagined locations from Critical Role or Lord of the Rings, thank you so much for joining us today on Talking XP. Please consider subscribing to the channel on Twitch or YouTube. You can join our Discord and share us with your friends, and it's a nice little community. You can also find us at social media, on social media at Talking XP. I'm here, I'm on Twitter, Ellen_Boner, Boner. You can find me there. We also have an ongoing Curse of Strahd stream on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. You can catch it as a podcast also on any platform, and I'm on that as well, playing the morally grey artificer Beatrice LeBeau. So don't be a stranger and come swing by. Of course, Map Maven will be back, but we might be shifting to Wednesday next week. I'm most likely going to be shifting to Wednesday evenings. It just made more sense for my schedule, so keep an eye out for that. I will make an announcement on the Twitter and in the Discord, so if you're wondering where we are, that's where. Next week, we're going to be doing a shape challenge in Photoshop. So the way this is going to work a little bit different, we're going to take an unusual shape, something that exists, not a randomly generated shape, a shape that exists, and I'm going to be turning it into a map in Photoshop. So if you want to see that, please do come back next week. I hope to see you all there. Until then, please have safe travels and make sure you bring a map so you don't get lost. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.